If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns are once again making headlines, and not necessarily for the right reasons. This time, the conversation isn't about their defense, their playoff chances, or even their long history of quarterback struggles. It's about how they're handling rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. The young quarterback, taken in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, was supposed to represent a fresh spark for the team, a new face to potentially build around. Instead, it feels like his development has been stuck in neutral before it even had a chance to take off. And that's exactly what has analysts, including Tony Rizzo, fuming about what's happening in Cleveland. Let's break this down because there's a lot to unpack. The Browns went into the 2025 draft knowing they needed to add depth and competition to their quarterback room. They grabbed Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, a talented, quick-footed passer with solid college experience, and then doubled down by taking Shedeur Sanders 2 rounds later. On paper, it looked like a smart move. 2 different skill sets, 2 different temperaments, both young and moldable. The problem now isn't that the Browns picked both. It's how they're handling them after the draft. According to head coach Kevin Stefanski, all first-team reps in practice are going to Gabriel. Every single one. Sanders, meanwhile, is watching from the sidelines, holding a clipboard, and apparently not getting much real developmental action. Stefanski's reasoning is straightforward. He believes that splitting reps between 2 rookies would hurt both of their progressions, leaving neither one adequately prepared. In theory, that sounds reasonable. Coaches across the league often stick to one developmental plan when dealing with rookie quarterbacks, especially when they're trying to identify who might be the guy moving forward. But in practice, this decision has sparked serious debate. Many around the league, and particularly in the media, are wondering what the Browns are really doing here. Are they truly developing their young talent? Or are they setting one of them up to fail before he ever gets a chance to prove himself? Tony Rizzo didn't mince words when he went off on this topic. He tore into the Browns' coaching staff, calling their approach a joke, questioning whether Sanders is even being coached at all. His rant was raw, passionate, and, honestly, echoed what many fans are thinking. Rizzo asked the questions everyone wants answered. Who is actually coaching this kid for 10 weeks straight? What's happening behind the scenes? Is Sanders being prepared for anything? Rizzo's biggest frustration seems to come from the idea that a 5th-round pick is being left to rot, rather than being nurtured in a system that should be giving him at least some sort of chance to develop. He even went so far as to say, if you don't think he can play behind this line, what does he do in practice every day? It's a fair point, and one that really cuts to the heart of the matter. See, the Browns situation isn't just about Shedeur Sanders not getting first-team reps. It's about a larger pattern of indecision and poor player development that has haunted this franchise for years. Cleveland has cycled through quarterbacks at an alarming rate, from Baker Mayfield to Deshaun Watson, and now this new crop of rookies. Each time, the story feels the same. High hopes, messy execution, and ultimately, wasted potential. Fans are tired of watching talented young players get caught in the crossfire of a team that can't seem to establish stability. Rizzo's criticism hits hard because it feels like the Browns are falling into that same trap all over again. From Stefanski's perspective, though, this isn't negligence, it's strategy. The coaching staff reportedly believes that focusing all their energy on Gabriel gives the team the best shot at identifying a future franchise quarterback sooner rather than later. Gabriel was drafted higher, after all, and in the NFL, draft position often dictates opportunity. Stefanski seems to be betting that Gabriel will rise to the challenge, and once he's fully developed, or if he fails, only then will Sanders get his turn. To the Browns, it's about managing time and resources efficiently. To the critics, it's about stunting the growth of a player who needs live reps to improve. Both sides have logic behind them, but in a league as competitive as the NFL, perception often matters just as much as performance. And perception right now isn't exactly kind to Cleveland. Sanders was one of the most talked about players coming out of college, largely due to his famous father, Deion Sanders. He arrived in the NFL with big expectations and an even bigger spotlight. Fans were excited to see what Primetime Jr. could do, especially after his impressive college performances where he showed poise, vision, and leadership. But now, Months into his rookie season, all the buzz has turned into confusion. Why draft a player like Sanders if you're not even going to give him a real opportunity to grow? Why not at least rotate him in, test him in controlled scenarios, and see what he can bring to the table? What makes this whole situation more complicated is that the Browns aren't exactly lighting the world on fire offensively. Their quarterback play has been inconsistent, their offensive line has struggled at times, and the fan base is growing restless. When a team is losing or looks directionless, fans naturally start calling for change, and that often means calling for the backup quarterback. In this case, the calls are for Sanders. Even if he's a rookie, even if he's not quite ready, people just want to see something different. They want hope. But the Browns are sticking to their guns, maintaining that the plan won't change anytime soon. Gabriel is QB2, Sanders is QB3, and that's the way it's going to be until further notice. Now, you could argue that this patience could pay off in the long run. Quarterbacks develop at different speeds, and not everyone is ready for the spotlight right away. Some of the league's best passers, like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, benefited from sitting and learning before taking over. Maybe that's the Browns' intention here. Let Sanders sit, absorb, and grow in the background. But there's a fine line between patient development and neglect, and right now, it feels like the Browns are towing that line dangerously close. Rizzo's outrage taps into that fear that Cleveland might once again mishandle a young quarterback's trajectory because of poor planning and short-sighted decision-making. It's worth remembering that Shedeur Sanders isn't just any fifth-round pick. His name carries weight. His confidence, his swagger, and his work ethic have been praised by coaches and teammates alike. He's got the DNA of a leader and the mindset of someone who believes he belongs in the NFL. For a guy like that, sitting on the sidelines for months without any real reps can be mentally taxing. It's not just about football mechanics. It's about motivation, belief, and trust in the organization. If Sanders starts to feel like he's being ignored or written off, it could impact his confidence and relationship with the coaching staff. The Browns, whether they realize it or not, are playing a delicate psychological game here. Meanwhile, the fan discourse around all of this is only heating up. Social media is full of debates, some fans defending Stefanski's one QB focus approach, while others accuse him of favoritism and poor management. It's becoming one of those storylines that snowballs, not because of what's happening on the field, but because of what's not happening. Every time Gabriel struggles, the calls for Sanders grow louder. Every time Sanders' name trends online, analysts like Rizzo pour more fuel on the fire. It's a media storm brewing in real time, and Cleveland, a city all too familiar with sports controversy, is once again at the center of it. At the end of the day, though, it's important to recognize that development isn't a one-size-fits-all process. Maybe the Browns truly believe this is the best way to prepare both of their rookie quarterbacks. Maybe they see something in practice that the rest of us don't. Maybe Sanders is learning, growing, and biding his time quietly. Or maybe, just maybe, Rizzo's right, and Cleveland is once again mishandling a player who could have been something special. The truth will come out in time, as it always does in the NFL. There's still plenty of football left to be played this season, and injuries, slumps, or just plain opportunity could change everything overnight. But for now, the message is clear. The Browns are all in on Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders will have to wait his turn. Whether that's a smart developmental plan or a missed opportunity will depend entirely on how the next few months unfold. One thing's for sure, the pressure is on Kevin Stefanski. Every decision, every snap, every post-game comment is being scrutinized. And if Gabriel falters while Sanders continues to sit idle, the noise from the critics will only get louder. Cleveland's quarterback saga, as always, remains one of the most fascinating dramas in football, a blend of hope, frustration, and endless what-ifs. The Browns may have the final say in this situation, but the public, the media, and the fans aren't done talking about it anytime soon. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Alright, so buckle up, because what's been happening around the NFL right now is the kind of thing that feels like it was pulled straight out of a wild football fever dream. The Cleveland Browns, yes, the Browns have just had 2 wins reinstated by the league after what insiders are calling one of the most dramatic and controversial reversals in recent NFL history. It's the kind of twist that you'd think belongs in a movie script, not an actual NFL season. But here we are, in the thick of it, and the ripple effects across the league are already massive. Fans are stunned, analysts are scrambling to update playoff models, and players, well, they're just trying to process what it means for their season. The Browns, a team that's been living on the edge all year, suddenly find themselves back in the playoff race in a way that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming just a few days ago. So let's break this down. From what's been circulating in league circles, the story goes like this. Two controversial Browns losses from earlier in the season have now been reviewed, audited, and, in a move that's sending shockwaves through sports media, officially overturned by the NFL. We're talking about the games against the Steelers and the Broncos, both of which ended in crushing, last-minute heartbreak for Cleveland fans. But according to multiple sources close to the situation, an internal review led by the league's officiating and compliance departments discovered what's being described as procedural irregularities. Yeah, that's the phrase being tossed around, in the way those games were officiated. What exactly that means, nobody's saying on record, but it's clear that the league found enough evidence of error or mismanagement to justify one of the rarest moves in NFL history, retroactively awarding victories. And make no mistake, this isn't something the league does lightly. The NFL's history with overturning outcomes is practically non-existent. Usually, once the clock hits zero, that's it. The result is the result. Teams move on. Fans grumble. Conspiracies brew on Twitter. But this is different. This is unprecedented. It's the kind of decision that makes you wonder what was really going on behind closed doors. Because if the NFL is willing to rewrite results weeks after the fact, there must have been something major that couldn't be ignored. Some insiders are whispering about officiating discrepancies. Others hint at possible misinterpretations of replay protocol. Whatever the case, the Browns just went from being on the playoff bubble to sitting comfortably inside the hunt again, and that's turning the entire AFC landscape upside down. And for the city of Cleveland, man, it's hard to describe what this means. This isn't just about football, it's about redemption. For years, Browns fans have lived through heartbreak after heartbreak, always finding new and painful ways to lose, always feeling like the football gods had it out for them. But now, it's like the universe finally decided to balance the scales. This team, battered and bruised but never broken, suddenly has new life. The locker room is buzzing, the front office is grinning ear to ear, and the fan base? Forget it. Cleveland is absolutely electric right now. Social media is exploding with reaction videos of Browns fans screaming in disbelief, crying tears of joy, posting memes about the NFL finally doing something right. It's chaos. Beautiful, glorious, orange and brown chaos. Now, what's fascinating here is how this decision impacts the rest of the AFC. Because with those two wins reinstated, the Browns' record jumps dramatically, and it throws the entire playoff picture into flux. Teams like the Bengals, the Jets, and even the Bills are suddenly staring at a much steeper climb to the postseason. Analysts are already recalculating probabilities, and let me tell you, it's wild. Before this ruling, Cleveland was hovering around a 12% chance to make the playoffs, according to most models. Now, that number's reportedly shot up past 70%. 70. That's the difference between planning for the offseason and preparing for a January showdown. Just like that, in the blink of an eye, the Browns have gone from forgotten to feared. And if you think the players aren't fired up, think again. Sources inside the team say the locker room erupted when the news broke. Deshaun Watson, who's been under the microscope all season, was reportedly one of the first to find out, and according to one teammate, he couldn't stop smiling. He said, "We're back," the source claimed. He just kept repeating it, "We're back." Head coach Kevin Stefanski, usually calm and composed, was described as emotional during his post-practice talk. He told the team that this was a second chance, a sign that hard work and resilience pay off even when the odds are against you. It's got that Hollywood sports movie energy, the underdog team, written off by everyone, getting a miraculous break and storming back into contention. You can almost hear the soundtrack swelling. But not everyone's thrilled, of course. Around the league, there's been a lot of raised eyebrows. Several teams are reportedly furious, arguing that the NFL's decision sets a dangerous precedent. What's next? One anonymous GM asked during a call with reporters. Are we going to start rewriting games every week? When someone complains about officiating, it's a fair question. The league's integrity has always rested on the finality of results. Once the whistle blows, that's it. You move on. But this is new territory. It's opening the door to what could become a wave of demands for post-game reviews and retroactive adjustments. Imagine if every controversial call suddenly became subject to re-examination, the chaos that would unleash. But for now, the league seems confident in its decision, insisting that this situation was exceptional, unique, and justified. Still, the conspiracy theories are flying. Some fans are suggesting that the league made the call because it wanted to keep Cleveland in the playoff mix for ratings. After all, the Browns have one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL, and a competitive Cleveland team draws eyeballs. Others are spinning wilder theories, claiming there's pressure from sponsors or TV networks. And of course, there are those who think this is karma, pure and simple, a cosmic payback for years of bad breaks and blown calls that went against the Browns. Whatever your take, it's impossible to deny that the timing is interesting. We're heading into the final stretch of the season, where every game, every snap, every point matters. And now the Browns are right back in it, their destiny completely rewritten. What's really crazy, though, is how the locker room vibe seems to have transformed overnight. Players who were quiet, subdued, and worn down by a grueling season suddenly sound like they're part of something special. There's energy in the building again. You can feel it. Myles Garrett reportedly gave an impromptu speech to the defense, reminding everyone that this is their shot to prove they belong among the league's elite. "We've been given a gift," he told them. "Now it's up to us to earn it." And if you know Garrett, you know that when he says something like that, he means it. The man's on a mission. And the way the Browns' defense has been playing this year, gritty, relentless, fearless, they've got the kind of attitude that could carry them deep into January if things break their way. Cleveland's schedule down the stretch doesn't get any easier, though. They've got some tough matchups ahead, divisional games that are going to feel like playoff battles, with every opponent now eyeing them as the team to beat. The narrative has flipped completely. A week ago, the Browns were being written off as a disappointment, another what-if season lost to injuries and bad luck. Now, they're the story. They're the team everyone's watching. Can they capitalize on this lifeline, or will the pressure crush them? That's the million-dollar question. But if history tells us anything about Cleveland, it's that they thrive when the odds are stacked against them. And let's not overlook the fans. Cleveland's fan base is one of the most loyal, tortured, and passionate groups in all of sports. They've stuck with this team through decades of frustration, through the drive, the fumble, the endless quarterback carousel, the 0-16 season. And now, finally, there's something magical happening again. Downtown Cleveland is already buzzing with talk of playoff tailgates and January football. Bars are packed, the Dawg Pound is alive again, and there's this feeling, this rare, electric optimism, that maybe, just maybe, this is the year the football gods smile on the Browns. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!